My name is Ghostboy259 and I played Lunistice. Lunistice is a wonderful little platformer developed by a grumpy fox. That's the name of the developer, it wasn't an actual fox. Who unfortunately I'm unable to find on any socials anymore, but as I wrote this in late January, it's possible that they popped up somewhere else. There's also a whole write-up on Medium that documents the whole story about how the game was made. I'm not including any information about it here, but I will attach a link below if you want to watch that. As per usual, if you want to experience the game with me, you can check it out on Reality Escape Plays. If you want to watch me record the gameplay for these videos live, you can join me at twitch.tv/ghostboy259. And if you want to see these videos early, check out Patreon. All links are at realityescape.ca. There's not a lot of spoilers for this game, but I'll throw out a warning now just in case someone always gets mad. And I highly recommend you give this game a chance if you're into 3D platforming. It's really fun to control, it only takes a few hours, and it's pretty cheap all things considering. Lunistice is a 3D platformer with an old school art style, although you can turn that off if you want to, but don't. It's better with it. There is a vague plot to it. There's a narrator who explains some things at the beginning, but I'm not really sure how important it is, or if it's connected to a greater lore or another game, or maybe it's revealed in the secret ending that I didn't get. But halfway through, me and my chat kind of collectively had a moment of, wait, what's going on? Why are we doing this? But it really doesn't matter. The game is a very pure platforming game. There is some very light combat mechanics, but the enemies don't drop anything at all. They're really just there to be a part of the platforming and make it more difficult to navigate. There's a few enemies that chase you, some that float in the way of where you need to go, so you need to be paying attention and attack them to get by, and then there are others that are just spiky and stay in place, so if you land on them, you take damage. There are 3 characters available to you, but there's only one to start, which is Hannah. Until you beat the game for the first time, then the other 2 unlock. With Hannah, you can triple jump, you can do an attack, and have 3 health, so you can make a few mistakes. Throughout the game, there are checkpoints in the form of the Japanese gateways and cranes to collect. You don't have to go for the cranes, but it seems like it leads to some secret ending if you collect them all. I tried at first, but I always ended up just missing 1 or 2, and I didn't want to spend too much time going back and looking for everything. I will say that I wish they had some sort of benefit even if you didn't collect them all, just because your gaming instincts will immediately want you to collect everything you see, but once you realize you don't actually need it and it's an all or nothing thing, either you get them all or it doesn't matter, it becomes very easy to convince yourself just to skip it, in which case the game becomes significantly shorter. Still challenging, but a lot shorter. Even though the option is obviously there, sometimes it can be hard to convince yourself to do something once you know it doesn't lead anywhere. The maps are designed in such a way where occasionally you will have a branching pathway, and if you go down one of the alternate ways, you'll collect cranes and sometimes a tile with one of the letters of your name, and then it will somehow loop back to the point where you hit the crossroads. The one thing is that it can actually be pretty hard to tell which is the side pathway and which one will continue through the level because the sideways are kind of long and elaborate, and occasionally I found myself backtracking just to make sure I got as many cranes as I could, even if I didn't intend to get 100% of them. On the maps, you'll also have little slides where you need to keep your balance by keeping the bar in the green, little boosts to send you to another section of the map, little portals that will raise you up and sometimes be used for tricky platforming, and sometimes you'll have to hit little mushrooms or something like that to unlock a further pathway. Overall, the maps look really good. They're pretty fair, the platforming isn't overly precise, and the music fits perfectly with the vibe. There's nothing that really breaks the mold outside of 2 levels which I particularly enjoyed and will remember. Minor spoilers coming up if you want to experience them for yourself. The first is a musical rhythm map. You have a beat counter on the bottom and the platformers will disappear on the first or second beat. It's honestly really challenging and fun. I did dozens of music classes throughout high school and I got straight A's, like 90% in all of them, and I consider myself to have pretty good timing, but I still couldn't get used to it. It's so tricky when the timing doesn't work out precisely enough to jump on the same beat and then land on the next, but the challenge is what makes it fun. It just kind of broke my brain a little bit, but in a really good way. The other map is this one where when you walk in, there's no music. At first, my chat and I thought the game was broken, and I was close to resetting the game to see if the music would come back. Instead, the game takes you to this center area, and as you go around, you'll find 3 different platforms, and once you get to them, the music starts coming back instrument by instrument. What happened to the music? This is the most terrifying level of a game I've ever played without the music. Wait, what? It's just back? So it wasn't a glitch, or is it looping? We just get the drums? We have to... Oh! Whatever we collected is bringing back the music. It was all a part of the mechanics the whole time? There we go. It's back. We got some piano. In the grand scheme of things, it's pretty small, and this game isn't doing anything that other platformers haven't done before. But man, this one thing really stood out. It was like, okay, sure, maybe the gameplay is a little bit repetitive and the new levels aren't keeping it as fresh as I would have liked, but this one thing was so unexpected and genuinely gave me a moment to, whoa, that's actually pretty cool. I just hope people didn't end up resetting their games at this time thinking the music was broken. I imagine it would be hard to have a gimmick like this for every level, but for what it's worth, this was my favorite moment of playing, and I would love to see more of this kind of thing. It was honestly just refreshing to play a game like a platformer and see something I had never seen before. Truthfully, this could even be the entire gimmick of a game on its own, just a game where you have to go around and complete the soundtrack. The last thing I love about this game is the timer in the top left corner. In a platformer like this, where there isn't a ton going on besides jumping around, I love the idea of catering to the people who are most likely to replay your game. And it totally worked. The game has over 570 submitted speedruns on speedrun.com, which isn't nothing. And it has multiple categories, it was featured in a Games Done Quick, and still has the occasional runner. And I think it has potential to be found and run in the future. I don't think every game needs a timer mode, but in a game like this where it's instantly so attractive to that speedrunner crowd, doing something like this is just such a nice touch and just shows it was made in good faith. And in reward, they will run and share your game with other people. Please listen, if you are making a movement-based game or think people will want to speedrun it, add an in-game timer. Trust me, people will love it. And if anything, people will see that timer and take it as a challenge, and it will make them want to speedrun it more. Overall, it is a really tidy little platforming game that to a casual player will probably take less than 3 hours. To a speedrunner, it has some really decent replayability, and I like some of the more creative aspects of the level design, and I just hope to see more of that in general, both from games that are platformers and maybe specifically from this developer in particular. But amongst all the paper cranes, platforms, musical beats, and falling to my death several times, my name is Ghostboy259 and I played Lunistice. Next time, I'll play something else. Thanks for watching.